Okay, welcome back to the next video in the series. Today we're going to be looking at measured moves for patterns. First pattern we're going to look at, this is Anchor USDT. Now we've drawn an inverse head and shoulders here, and to measure the move for this pattern, it's the depth of your biggest swing inside the pattern, which would be the shoulder or the armpit of the first swing. And then you get another swing down to the bottom, and I'm using the candle bodies as my measurement here. So from this candle body down to this candle body, pretty much what this line represents is that distance. It's the depth of the pattern. So if you were to copy this and put it over here, this is the breakout point of the pattern. So you put the measurement where the breakout point is, and this will give you the approximate move for that pattern, for the measured move. Now it's important to remember too that most of these measured moves are just a guide, and often they'll just be resistance levels for the price hits anyways. So this is the area of resistance we'd be looking at. And then this is the measured move of the pattern if you were to measure from here down to the bottom. So it's not always perfect. So keep this in mind that they're really just a guide to give you an estimate of where it could be. A lot of people are doing the same thing we are. We're drawing the patterns, we're measuring the moves, and they could be taking profit just a little bit below that resistance. Next one we're looking at, this is a falling wedge. Now the same thing here, you could turn this into a rising wedge by inverting the chart. So if you go into the right hand side where your price scale is, if you right click on it, come down here and you can see invert scale. Click on that and that'll turn your chart upside down. So the measured move is the depth of the pattern, and it's the widest part of the pattern. So the distance from this upper trend line down to the lower trend line, that's where you get this trend line from, or this measurement. And if you bring it over here to where the breakout point is, this will give you an approximate distance for that measured move of the pattern. So again, if you wanted to go back, you just go over here to your price scale, invert the scale, and now it's a falling wedge to measure the move. And again, we'll go back one more time. If you invert the scale, it works the same way for a rising wedge to the downside. Next one we're going to look at is a bull pennant and a bear pennant. So same idea, right? You could come over into the price scale side, click on invert scale, and now you're measuring the move for a bearish pennant. If you go back to the chart that's right side up, now it's a bull pennant. So the measured moves are the same idea. You're measuring the depth of the pattern. So the bull pennant or a bear pennant starts for the distance of the flagpole, right? So this whole flag is what you're measuring here for this move. And then at the breakout point of the pattern, you come over here and place this down, and that'll give you the measured move for a bull pennant or a bear pennant. Next ones we're going to look at are bull flags and bear flags. So the same idea, you could invert your chart and it would be a bear flag to the downside. Either way, if you're measuring the move, it's the distance of the flagpole that goes near the breakout level, and that's how you get the measured move for a bear flag or a bull flag. Okay, next up we're going to look at double bottoms and double tops. So the distance for a double bottom for a measured move is the depth of the pattern from the neckline down to the bottom of that range. So you take this measurement, stick it on top where the breakout point is, and that'll give you your approximation for the measured move for a double bottom or a double top. Okay, on to the next one. This one is seller. We're looking at a cup and handle. So for a cup and handle, you're measuring the whole depth of the cup here. So this measurement is from the top of the trend line here. That goes on top where the breakout level is, and that'll give you the measured move for a cup and handle. So most patterns, if you've noticed by now, it's always the depth of the pattern for the measured move. All right, same thing here with the depth of the pattern. This is a symmetrical triangle. So for a symmetrical triangle, you're using the largest opening side of the triangle for the measured move. So the distance between this swing and this swing becomes the measured move for a sim triangle. Put it over here at the breakout point. And again, these are just approximations. They're not always perfect. It just depends which resistance other traders are looking at, but these are definitely a great guide to help you. And the last one we're looking at, these are ascending and descending triangles. So ascending triangles have a flat top. That's very important to remember. If you have a bit of a difference like this, maybe the trend line's not quite flat, it might be more of a wedge than it is an ascending triangle. So definitely keep that in mind. Ascending triangles, or if you were to invert the chart, it turns into a descending triangle. The resistance is always flat on the one side. So the measured move again is the depth of the pattern. So from this peak inside here, where you had your first touch, then you measure it down to the breakout point, and that'll give you a measured move for an ascending triangle or a descending triangle.